It's time for the insane, the honest, and the profane with your host, Brandon Combs.
Jed Hoyer has been a coward as a GM. He doesn't go out and he doesn't make the big splash signings. He doesn't spend the money in the right places. But then I don't let Craig Counsell off the hook because, yes, did he get put in a bad spot with this rotation by Jed Hoyer? Absolutely. But then you didn't put those guys that you did have in a position to succeed in the playoffs.
And Ryan Fitzgibbons.
I mean, if he's just as good as Justin Fields, it's probably the worst draft pick in the history of Bears football. It probably is. And one of the worst draft picks in the history of the NFL.
It's Combs and Fitz, Windy City Sports Talk, right here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
And welcome to Combs and Fitz, Windy City Sports Talk. I found out he's not in an Iranian basement.
Yes!
We are in an Indiana basement.
You found me!
I found Fitzy. It is he is not a prisoner of war. He is just a prisoner of cornfields in Indiana.
And you're going to get choked out at some point today.
At some point today,
like
I probably get choked
you're
out.
going in that direction
yeah.
already.
I mean, you could try.
Like both of our baseball teams,
Like
you will choke.
Oh, our baseball teams.
See how I wrapped it in
my
there?
God.
See how I did that? We've been off for 2 weeks and I still got it. I still got it.
Like a professional.
Oh, yeah, almost.
What?
Not
Where?
a professional show, but
Which one do you want to start with?
I'll
leave that up to you.
we got to start with the Cubs.
All right, let's go ahead and start with our my Chicago Cubs because I got to tell you, I thought heading into this season that the pitching was going to be a problem. However, we are 14 games into the season.
Trouble.
The pitching is really good. The offense is a problem.
Yeah.
This lineup is not hitting, and I know I've heard people out there. Oh well, it's cold weather. It's early April. Well, jerk off. It's cold for both teams when they're at the stadium. It's not like it's just cold for the Cubs and it's not cold for the Pirates or for whoever it is that they're playing.
Or for the vaunted Washington Nationals.
I will say that when they went to Tampa, it looked like they had turned a corner when they finally got to play in warm weather, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a problem. The other problem is the lack of depth in the pitching rotation is going to start to show its ugly head. I thought that was going to be a strength, but Cade Horton now with Tommy John surgery, that's a huge blow. You look at, you don't know when you're getting Justin Steele back. Man, would it have been great to have had, whether it was Brandon Pfaadt or the other Arizona Diamondbacks pitcher, whose name's going to escape me now.
Or Mackenzie Gore. With the Washington Nationals. Yeah. I mean, now with having trouble with Wiggins in the minors.
Yes.
Who had some arm soreness too. You don't have a lot of guys to go to. Which is a problem. And their lineup looks a little different without probably their most consistent hitter, Seiya Suzuki, in it.
Yeah.
Now he'll come back soon. Or soon enough, but yeah, I mean, I guess you can't put much of this on the manager, but who do you put this on? Cade Horton, especially. Did Cade Horton have too many innings last year?
So I can put the Cade Horton thing. Look, a UCL is a UCL, and especially in young pitchers that throw as hard as Cade Horton throws, you're going to have that stuff happen. And that was always a concern, right? Is if one of the pitchers goes down, especially your younger pitchers, whether it's Edward Cabrera or whether it's Cade Horton, and if they go down for with an elbow injury for a long period of time, who steps into that role? Because look, I do like Javier Assad. I think Javier Assad was a good piece to have down in AAA to be able to call up. But if I go into the playoffs, now, I know we're a long way away. We're only 14 games in the season. But if I go into the playoffs and my 1, 2, 3 is Justin Steele, Edward Cabrera, Javier Assad, I don't like the way that sounds. As opposed to, no, look, trade deadline, you can make moves, you can do all this other stuff. I don't trust Jed to go out and make that big move at the deadline.
Shota?
Stop.
You had a no-hitter through the 6th inning.
In Chicago with the wind blowing in the cold weather. It's like that's when Shota can pitch. If you're telling me that Shota's only going to pitch in October at Wrigley Field, I'd probably be content with that. If you tell me he's only going to pitch at Wrigley, I would be content with that.
For in the cold.
In the cold.
Not July when it's 90 degrees.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's the jet stream.
But we always knew it. We knew coming in from Japan that he was a fly ball pitcher, which I questioned why you would want a fly ball pitcher at Wrigley Field. Now, luckily, over the last 2 years, something's happened with the weather and the winds have shifted, and it's primarily been blowing in for the most part. So that has helped, a lot of the pitching staff. The other thing that I think is helping the Cubs right now, if you look across baseball, I mean, you got 8-6, 7-7, 7-7, 6-8, 5-9. Like,
what about
there's so much parity.
What's going on in Los Angeles?
Well, I mean, the Dodgers are 11-3. The second best record in baseball is 9-6.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So
middling teams.
There's a lot of middling teams.
How you doing, Rodney?
What's going on, Rodney? How we doing, brother?
What do you think about the Cubs, bud?
So Rodney is a Red Sox fan.
Ooh.
But
how's Garrett Crochet going for you? You're welcome, sir.
That Red Sox but they started out tough. They've been playing a lot better baseball. Over the last 4 or 5 games or so. So that team's looking all right. But this Cubs team, I think that's what they can lean on right now is, hey, everybody's kind of falling back. You look at the New York Yankees started out 8-2. They're 8-6 now. So teams are coming back to the pack. Nobody is really running away. Everybody's so far early in the season is kind of being middle. But you expected the Dodgers to run away, right? Like the Dodgers are the Dodgers.
They had a good April and May last year too. They're a veteran team. You usually see good Aprils and Mays from veteran teams,
and they're relatively healthy.
Relatively healthy.
The pitching staff is healthy. It was not healthy at the beginning of last year.
God, they had all kinds of problems.
Yeah. And so the Dodgers are going to be the Dodgers. 110 wins is not an unrealistic expectation for this Dodgers team. But when you look at like the Central Division where the Cubs are at with Milwaukee, with St. Louis, with Cincinnati, St. Louis is 8-6. They're not going to continue to play as well as they've started off. The Reds and the Pirates, though, at the beginning of the year, I picked the Pirates to be a playoff team. I'm not surprised by this Pirates start. I did.
Paul Skeens can't pitch every game.
No, Paul Skeens, but they've got Bubba Chandler, who is also a really damn good pitcher. They've got all sorts of pitchers in this rotation that you don't know about. And then they went out and got Ryan Helsley to close out games. Their lineup is really young and really talented. I love this Connor Griffin kid. I didn't understand why he didn't start the season with the team. Maybe it was just because, they called him up before the home opener. So maybe they just wanted him to start out in Pittsburgh for whatever reason. Doesn't make much sense to me. Let the kid just start out wherever you're playing with the big league club. But cool for the Pittsburgh Pirates fans to see him on opening day. He rips a double in his first at bat. This Pirates team is really good. I think the Cincinnati Reds are also going to be a team that is going to be around the entire season. I thought that this was a 3-team race between the Cubs, the Reds, and the Pirates. I think the Pirates, the Brewers are going to fade, which they've started to fade. What do they? They're about if they lose today to Washington, they've gotten swept by the Washington Nationals this weekend. So they've lost 2 straight to Washington.
Tough.
Yeah,
for a team that's over under is 62.5 games.
Yeah, in this
Washington Nationals, that is
right. In the Brewers team, look, people say, "Oh, you're a Cubs fan, that's why you say it." I didn't think that the Brewers were going to be that good this year. They lost too much. When you lose Freddie Peralta, who was your ace, that's a huge loss. They've lost so much. They made so many trades and lost key players off of their infield from last year that I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be tough for them to replenish what they've done." So
done that. This is the second year in a row they've done it. Maybe 3 years.
But Brandon Woodruff's been hurt too
3 years ago, and you thought, why would you do that? But a lot of people have gotten rid of him. Baseball is going to start liking contact again, I think, at some point.
Yeah,
but it still hasn't shown out. Even with some teams like Milwaukee and Toronto, who are contact hitting teams who have done really well. Mm-hmm. I don't know. and I'm not saying this because the Sox played a bad series. That's not why they got swept. They didn't get swept in Milwaukee because Milwaukee was great, but I don't think Milwaukee goes away.
Yeah.
I just think they're a very good contact hitting team, a very sound team. And I think if you're in the middle 80s, 80 wins in this division, I think you're going to do okay, especially with some of these injuries the Cubs got
Right.
now. I mean, the Cubs get one more major injury. You're in trouble, I think. I think with the Cubs myself, I think they need another pitcher. And I don't think they have to look that far. And you know what I'm going to say, but let me say it. Don't breathe.
I think I know what you're going to say.
He was 10-4 last year. He had a 3.41 ERA, which is very good, even in this pitching heavy league that we have here now. And his name is Lucas Giolito.
Yeah.
And he's still on the market. And you can have him for like $18 million a year, probably. Probably 2 years you're going to have to grab him for. Someone's going to grab him. I mean, I actually think the Sox should, but I think the Sox we'll talk about the Sox in a minute. I think they're going to go with a different angle, which I'm actually okay with. But I don't think I think the Cubs need innings. I mean, at this point, and I can't believe I'm saying that already, that they need innings already.
I know, 14 games in.
Because maybe you could have brought Wiggins up, I guess, early, but you could have at least brought him up and he could have spelled some innings here. You do have, you're right. You do have Javier Assad, but I mean, you're in trouble for the first month of the season. When do you think Justin Steele's going to be back? Is it May? Is it later in May?
It's probably mid-June is what I would think that it's going to be.
What do you expect to get out of him?
I mean, you don't know because look, I wasn't the biggest Justin Steele guy. I was a big Justin Fields guy. I was not the biggest Justin Steele guy before the injury, right? Like I felt like if you thought that Justin Steele was your number one, you were in trouble.
No, yeah, he's got to be your 3 or 4.
Yeah. So, but now if you're trying, look, I like this Edward Cabrera kid. I was watching him pitch over the first 3 games. Yeah. Yes, I know he gave up 3 runs yesterday. The Cubs came back. The Cubs can't hit with runners in scoring position. That's a whole nother problem we can get into in a minute. But Edward Cabrera, I think, is the real deal. Cade Horton. I mean, that stings a lot. The Cade Horton injury is a gut punch.
Yeah, because you were hoping 150, 200 innings.
Yes, because if you're telling me going into October, I've got Edward Cabrera, Cade Horton, Justin Steele lined up as my 1, 2, and 3, and Steele's the 3. I'm loving what I'm looking at. But now without him, Edward Cabrera, and then who? That's the problem.
I don't think I'm loving that 3, but it's good. I mean, it's way better than you had a year before. When you're putting Boyd.
Well, because you have 3 strikeout guys.
Boyd's hurt now too.
You have 3 strikeout guys if you do that, which they didn't have before.
No, they didn't. You have Boyd and Imanaga basically not even giving you a chance in that Milwaukee series. Now, I know it came down to a last game, but it's very hard to beat a good team 3 games in a row, and that's what you were put into.
Yeah.
Jeremiah says at some point you can't do it with smoke and mirrors anymore. He's obviously talking about the Cubs.
Yeah, Jed's got to go out. And at the deadline, as long as this Cubs team isn't completely out of it by then, you're going to have like the best pitcher on the market, Tarek Skubal, most likely, has to be a Chicago Cub. And you have to be willing to part with the prospects to go out and get a top-end pitcher. It should have happened last year. They should have had Edward Cabrera going into the playoffs last year. That was a name that was on their radar last year at the trade deadline. But the price was too high. But then what did you do? You went and traded Owen Casey anyway for Edward Cabrera. Yeah. So like I don't understand sometimes the thought process in what they're doing. And Jed, to me, and I've said this time and time again, and I'm going to continue saying it, Jed Hoyer has the smallest GM balls in baseball. Look, I liked the Alex Bregman signing. I like the fact that you extended Nico. I love the fact that you extended PCA. Good, great moves, right? But what you're telling me now is this core is ready. So you're going to you have to do what it takes to win.
Your window isn't 2034. It's right now.
Yes.
And you got to push your chips all in. And if you lose, you lose. But at least you go down, you go down doing what your philosophy was. You don't. I mean, it just seems like he's always hedging his bets.
Yes.
Like there's always an extreme hedge when it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Rodney says it's still way early in the season. I promise there will be lots of injuries. I'm guessing he's talking about the Dodgers there because he does say Dodgers will win again this year.
Yeah. I mean, the Dodgers, I mean,
I don't know.
The Dodgers are, they're a team, but they are a team that is beatable. And I think that the Blue Jays prove that when they're fully healthy. I mean, the Blue Jays took them to the brink in 7 games, and then they're a freak non-catch in the middle of the outfield away from winning that World Series, right?
Oh,
so
God.
The Dodgers are a beatable team in a 7-game series. The thing with the Dodgers is you have to match their pitching, and if you can't match their pitching, that's when you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And this Cubs team right now cannot match the pitching, although, which is funny to say because the first 14 games of pitching has not been the problem. On Friday, you leave 11 men on base. On Friday, you lose that game to Pittsburgh, 2-0, by the way. After Shota leaves the game with a no-hitter still intact. Then yesterday, you blow well, you don't blow. You come back from a 3-0 deficit to tie the game in the 9th inning. You go into extra innings. You have the bases loaded, and you have Dansby fucking Swanson pop up.
Bat 130.
I am so done with Dansby Swanson. I love his glove, but the guy cannot hit. He's the least clutch player I've ever seen in my entire life. But the bigger problem that I had in that game yesterday was in the 7th inning. You bring in a pinch hitter in Carson Kelly for Moises Ballesteros, who was 2 for 2, who was the only guy that was hitting in your lineup at the time. So why are you bringing in a pinch hitter for the guy who is the hottest hitter in your lineup?
So you are mad at Craig Counsell.
Yeah, I don't understand that move. And then, yes, I know that you end up having Carson Kelly replace Michael Busch, who has had a horrid start to the season. I believe he's batting 118 to start the season.
Is that worse than Dansby?
Yes, but I think I trust Michael Busch to come out of it. I do not trust Dansby to hit better than 220. He's just not. But that's the thing. When we got Dansby Swanson, that was my problem with the deal when we signed Dansby Swanson, right? Because when we signed Dansby Swanson, I was like, man, this kid is yes, he's coming off of a really great year, but this is a guy who's a career 240, 250 hitter who hits 15 home runs. What are you paying this guy all this money for? It boggles my mind. I know we're only 14 games into the season. I know that, and I'm not going to panic because there's a lot of baseball left to be played. But the problems that you're having now are the same problems you were having last year and the year before that you have failed to fill holes.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that I have with this baseball
Jeremiah's
team.
point. Jeremiah, I'm going to disagree with him and then agree with him. Lucas Giolito, he's talking about advanced metrics weren't great last year.
Yeah.
But the Cubs have to look, Lucas Giolito's advanced metrics have never been good. I mean, you'd have to show me like when his first breakout season, maybe he had good.
Yeah.
I mean, he does get pounded sometimes. He does get hit hard sometimes with that when he gets in between his fastball and his changeup. Lucas Giolito has a lot of problems, but a 3.41 ERA in that long part of the season where he pitched over 100 innings, you're right. Cubs really aren't in position to say no. You need a guy to eat innings, and to have a 3.41 ERA, you get even close to that, you're good.
Yeah, I'd be fine with the signing of Lucas Giolito because you're adding depth, and he's a 5. He's a guy who, once Steele comes back, is probably, hey, who's, is it Imanaga who comes out of the pen as a long reliever? Is it Giolito? Is it Tyone? You look at some of these guys that you have, pitching for this team now. Look, Tyone and Imanaga. Scary. Like Tyone today, I looked at the Wrigley wins for today. They're blowing out today.
What are you betting against them?
The wind's blowing out. I already bet the Pirates over and Connor Griffin to hit a home run. I mean, it's a no-brainer with Chyan on the mound. They're going to hit home runs. They're going to score runs. The Cubs just have to hit today.
I wonder if Jeremiah's betting against the Cubs today. Jeremiah says part of the problem is we should be playing baseball. That's what I say. In April, who knows what's going on, really? I don't. There's a lot. They had the White Sox, who we'll get to in a second, haven't had a home run in 7 games. But they showed a list of teams that haven't had a home run in 5, 6 games themselves.
Yeah.
And it was a long list of teams. I mean, that's what happens in April. It's a very sloppy game when it gets cold.
Yeah. And I
have less games, but
I agree, because I look, so up until 2010, and I don't know what changed with Major League Baseball. I really don't understand. I think it was the need and the want to go to Japan, and the need and the want to play games overseas for whatever reason. But the average opening day was April 9th.
Yeah, around there.
Which was yesterday.
Yeah, sometimes April 1st.
So, well, actually, I think it was Thursday. But still, like, that was the average opening day. And now, like, this year we opened on March 27th.
Yeah.
Like, what changed that we're 2 weeks earlier, and when you're playing games in Chicago and you're playing games in Cleveland and
playoffs,
yeah,
that's the thing. You're bringing in more teams to the playoffs.
But that's, it's so if you're going to do that, then the obvious answer, which I know why owners don't do it, is because of money or whatever the case is. But how many of these stadiums are actually packed in April? I mean, granted, the Reds had a great crowd last weekend when they had their game. But, I mean, the Cubs always draw well. But in these cold weather games, like, what other stadiums are really drawing well that you don't want to drop it down to 152 games? Take 10 games off the schedule. If up to April 9th, we were 11 games into the season for some teams. Subtract that from the schedule.
And it incentivizes teams to go to the playoffs, which is what you want. You have less teams like tanking year after year after year because Pittsburgh knows that that they're still going to get crowds because it's a beautiful stadium. Rodney asks about how do you guys feel about instant replay? We talked about this.
The ABS.
I like it.
I love it.
I don't see what the problem is with it.
Yeah.
Some teams are just calling, if they still have some challenges left late in the game, they're just calling it.
Yes.
Which is kind of weird. I mean, maybe someday baseball goes to where, like, in the 8th and 9th inning, they look at almost every pitch and they can call it from New York.
Look, if I've got 2 outs in the 9th inning and you call a strike 3 right down the middle, I'm challenging it just to challenge it.
Like, or maybe it was on the edge. Like the Sox did it in last night's game when it was 1-0 late.
And it's funny too, because a vast majority of the pitches that are actually challenged are actually being upheld, which is crazy because in the first week of the baseball season, umpires missed 850 balls and strikes. Only 340 of them were challenged. Or I'm sorry, only 150 of the misses were actually challenged. The ones that were correct, there was another 170 that were challenged.
I see some that are missed sometimes. And the guy just goes back to the thing. If he does, the batter doesn't know, or the catcher,
because there's a strategy. There's a strategy to because you've only got 2, which is why baseball is already talking about adding more challenges to the.
I think there's more strategy if they don't add any more. I don't.
Well, there is.
Stop the game stopping every.
This is why I think that instead of the ABS, but they won't do it because of you got the ABS challenge sponsored by T-Mobile. They make money off of the ABS challenge. I think that you should have automated strike zones. You've clearly got the technology to do it. There's no reason why you shouldn't do it. Let's get 100% of the calls correct. As opposed to, you're watching, like, I don't know if anybody pays attention to umpire scorecards or umpire auditor, but I do. And we've got games where umpires are getting 86% of their calls correct. It's unacceptable.
Yeah, it's untenable. You can't keep going.
No.
In this day and age, you just can't. There's just too many other leagues that do it really well. mean, even hockey does it really well, like really, really well, to where even the NFL had to, make their challenges even better, or not their challenges, but their instant replay even better. And challenges too, because the NHL did it so well. The NHL was doing it so quickly that the NFL, remember the NFL, they would go under the hood and it'd be like 5 or 6 minutes under that hood. You never see that anymore, or very, very rarely do this. And that was because the NHL was doing it so well. So these sports, they see each other and everybody's watching sports.
Yes.
They know that's why baseball had to go it. You have to come into the now, whether you like it or not, which I like the ABS. There's 2 rules I like. I like the ABS and I like the pitch clock. Everything else can go. You should be able to swing guys over to the right to the right side of the field when a left-handed batter's up. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Learn how to hit the other way.
Like, yeah.
Like, no, I'm with you.
And the first base thing is ridiculous, where you can only throw 3 times and then the guy can do it. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I love the ABS. I just think I wish they would allow more things to be challenged. And the other thing that I want taken out of the umpire's hands is the check swing. The home plate umpire should not be calling a check swing. It should be an automatic check down to first or third. I'd rather have the opinion. I know it's just an opinion. I know there's no rule about what a check swing is, but the home plate umpire should never be giving his opinion on whether or not you swung, because you clearly can't focus on the balls and strikes that you're calling.
And they should get that call right and have that in the handbook of what a swing is and what isn't.
And not only that, but I mean, like, there's other things that you can't challenge that should be challengeable. There's no reason why you shouldn't be, because the goal is to get 100% of the calls correct. You change the outcome of the game. You're doing I consider myself a baseball purist, but not in the fact where I'm an idiot and I don't think that baseball should evolve and get 100% of the calls correct. Because when you get 100% of the calls correct, the teams determine the outcomes of the games. The game is determined by the players and not by the umpires. So what would be the problem?
Yeah.
Was it getting 100% of the calls correct?
Or close to. I don't think you're ever going to get to 100%. It's not a perfect world, but get as close as you can. John says pro sports are going global.
He's out of his mind. They are trying to go global. He's right in that aspect of it, because they keep playing. We're going to get a game in Australia in the NFL this year.
I don't know if there's going to be a London baseball team.
No, there's never. That's where he's wrong.
You could take your particles apart and then reconstitute them in London instantly.
That's where he's wrong.
Trek.
The travel's just too much.
I just think the travel's too much. I mean, I would actually love that if it was possible.
What is it, a 22-hour flight to Australia?
Now, should they have games over there? Yeah, I mean, should they have baseball? Should baseball be everywhere? I think so. I mean, I don't think they should travel over there. I think there should be a European game. I think there should be
have their own leagues, like Japan does. Absolutely.
That are stronger. I mean, there is some teams that have leagues. I mean, I guess there's an Italy league. I mean, they played well. I mean, there's a Dominican league that's very good. A lot of people go there in the summer or the winter to play. There is leagues out there, but there's none of them that are as serious as something like Japan or other countries have. But
and I mean I think the teams that are playing in Australia have to leave tomorrow for week 3 of the NFL season when they play out there. It's insane.
It is. And teams always get a drop. They don't play as well out there.
Let's talk about the White Sox, man.
Yeah. Jeremiah says, "How are the Sox supposed to sell milkshakes in these conditions?"
That
is a problem.
It is a problem.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk Sox. I don't know. There's no reason to panic, I don't think. I thought they would have a slow start to the season. I said that some of these players, I watched Travis. I don't want to watch. It's a great story. Travis Peters, he played his first game, got his first hit in the major leagues, all that. I don't need him to, when he swings, it's like he's swinging separately with each one of his hands. He just seems like over his skis totally. And there's a lot of players on this team that seem like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is not the team that's going to, and Luis Angel, Acuna, I'm sorry, I don't think he looks ready either.
Munetaka Murakami stopped being Babe Ruth after the first 4 games.
Yeah, you knew that was going to be. He's not going to, and this is the same problem you get with guys like Dansby Swanson. You're going to have with Colders Montgomery. These are your 230 to 260 hitters.
Yeah,
this is how they hit. They're going to bat 150 for like a week or two.
Yeah.
They're going to bat 300 for like a week or two. They're going to look like they're going to have 6 home runs in a week and a half.
Yep.
And you're going to think, here we go now. But it's never going to be that way. That's the kind of Murakami. That's the kind of hitter I always thought he was going to be. He's going to be a 230 to 260 hitter. He's going to get on base a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he could have a 350 on base percentage. And if he hits 30 home runs and he's a left-handed bat in your lineup, you're fine with that. I want to see more home runs, but
if I had told you 15 games into the season that the White Sox would only be a game behind the Detroit Tigers, you probably would have taken it.
Yeah.
Now, you didn't know the Detroit Tigers are going to be 4th in the division and the White Sox are going to be 5th, but only a game behind the Detroit Tigers.
It's still not going to be a tough division, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think they're playing really bad. I think their best player is hurt. And when you're a bad team and your best player gets hurt, you're going to have problems. I think Kyle Teal is going to be their best player.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, maybe you can make argument for maybe Colson Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
This is another team where I don't think the pitching has been the problem.
Are you excited for Antonacci on Tuesday? They're calling up Antonacci.
Yeah, I think that's you need another position player in this lineup, and he can play the outfield as well. He did in the World Baseball Classic.
Mm-hmm.
He also plays second base. I don't think he's taking over for my draw.
I think he's been playing center field in double. I don't know. Is he in Double A or Triple A? Whichever. Wherever they have him. I believe he's playing center field.
He's hit everywhere. He did great on Italy's team in the World Baseball Classic. His averages were low in the World Baseball Classic, but he did have a home run and a couple of hard hit balls. Plus in spring training, he was good. I don't think he could be a star, but I think he could be a pretty good player. They're also bringing up Noah Schultz.
Yeah.
Who is the giant left-hander who even has pop marks on his face like Randy Johnson.
He's in Double A. That's Charlotte, right? That's the Double A system is Charlotte, correct?
Yeah.
So he's in Charlotte and he has 41 at-bats. He's batting .317.
No, Charlotte is not. Charlotte is not. Birmingham is their Double A.
So Charlotte's their Triple A then?
Yes.
All right. So he's batting .317, 4 stolen bases, 6 RBIs, 2 home runs. Has an on-base percentage of .509. Not too damn shabby. And you welcome that to the lineup. Look, it's a different world. AAA to Major League Baseball. Is it possible that he comes up and struggles? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is it possible that he comes up and he comes up on a heater? Absolutely.
He doesn't look like a guy that's been overwhelmed in anywhere he's played. Jeremiah said, I watched Schultz start the other day. That kid looks great. If you want to have fun and you like baseball and especially pitching, go watch Noah Schultz. Just put in Noah Schultz into YouTube. He is a lot of fun to watch pitch.
Yeah.
I don't know how many innings you're going to get out of him. Like I said, this is like the Cubs of 3 years ago where people were going, oh, they can make a run. And it's like, where are you getting the innings from? Who is pitching in the postseason? Not that I think the Sox are going to go on any run here. I just don't know there's a lot of pitchers that are going to come up. There's also a Tanner McDougal that's going to come up who might even have a better arm than Noah Schultz.
Left field is where Antonacci's been playing.
Okay. That makes sense because he is a second baseman. There's also Tanner McDougal who I thought was going to be up before Schultz, but I think they need a guy from the left-handed side. I don't know what they're going to do with Noah Schultz. Maybe he's your left-handed long guy out of the pen. Maybe he starts some games. But they're going to have pitchers who come up. None of these pitchers are going to pitch much over 100 innings.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's just no guy that's built up in their system yet. But it's good to see guys come up. I don't think that's been the problem. What's up?
What's going on, Junior? He says, hey, Fitz, the construction on the bridge they just built down the road from my house took less time than your studio construction. Wow.
This guy.
Well, he's coming at you.
You live in America.
He's coming at you.
Look, this isn't 1950s America where things got built. Don't lie to me. It took they tried to do a high-speed rail in LA like 10 years ago. It still isn't built. Don't tell me that the bridge got built. We are going to build a studio as fast as we do in America. It is a tradition now for it to take months.
Yeah. It's under construction, just like 294 has been since I moved back home in 2019.
Yes.
So
True.
it's
Yeah. Oh man.
It's insane.
294, but
what a joke. But yeah, look, I think that this White Sox team is in good shape. I don't think that they're worse than what I thought they would be. I think they're about what I thought they would be to this point.
Yeah.
They're still fun to watch. They're an exciting team to watch. They were exciting with that. They just swept the Toronto Blue Jays last weekend.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
they did, and they're going to have those games. They're going to be very inconsistent where they score 10 runs and then they can't score a run for like 4 games. And then they're going to have, there's guys that are going to come up. I mean, still Braden Montgomery can still come up there. Maybe Caleb Bonner this season. I don't know if he'll come up, but he's hitting the crap out of the ball. That's in single A. He's only 20 years old, but there's a lot of guys that are going to be coming through their through their system that are going to be up that will make it exciting to watch. This is the second tier of their rebuild, which I kind of almost thought that they would never even get here. So if you win 70 games, if you're competitive, I do want to see them more competitive. I don't want to see them under 10, 12 games under 500 going into May or partially into May. I don't want to see that. That is one thing that I just think is apprehensible. I just think you get really pissed off if the White Sox are 10 or 12 games under 500 and it's halfway through May. Now you're not even being competitive. Now I'm starting to have problems. And if some of these younger guys can't play, that goes back to the GM. That goes back to player development, which has been a question mark for this organization since 2012. So, I mean,
it's pretty bad. The
Hagen Smith as well. Jeremiah says Hagen Smith. That's the guy I was trying to think of.
Yeah, there's a lot of I think that the White Sox minor league system is very full right now. I think that they are going to be able to bring up a lot of talented players, a lot of talented pitchers, especially. I mean, it's the opposite for the Cubs. I mean, the only prospect they have pitching is Jackson Wiggins, and he also just went down with an arm injury, so that doesn't help. But you look at it. It was funny because I was just looking at the I pulled up the White Sox page on ESPN, and they have an MLB ABS challenge system tracking, which player has the most successful challenges, their success rate, and which teams have the most successful challenges and their success rate.
I know the Sox have not gotten a lot lately, especially late in games. They've been just calling it just to call it.
Yeah, so the Chicago White Sox actually are, let's see, 17th when batters challenge. They are 9th when pitchers challenge, apparently, which I don't know how because that's a 0% rate because they haven't challenged. They are 26th when the catcher challenges. 45% of the catcher is getting it right. That might change when Teal comes up. So their total right now, they rank 25th in Major League Baseball challenges. 43% of the time they are getting it correct. The Cubs right now, 59% of the time they are getting it correct. They are 10th. They rank 10th in the league in the ABS
That's
challenges.
good to keep track of throughout the season, too. That's an interesting stat.
Yeah.
And Jeremiah says Edgar has been awful. Yeah, Caro has not only been awful, knowing when to challenge, but he just hasn't been good. So you have Kyle Teal going down, and then Edgar Caro had a great spring training who can hit, who's not doing that well behind the plate. And then you bring in Reese McGuire, who's now your backup catcher, who can't hit at all.
Yeah.
From the left side of the plate. And you got Caro, who's a switch hitter, but he's mostly batting from the right side of the plate. Then you got 2 guys who can't hit out of your catcher spot at all. That's trouble.
Yeah.
And they're not doing well defensively, although Reese McGuire is a pretty good defensive catcher, but that's a lot to try to overcome.
The best team in baseball challenging is the Cincinnati Reds. 68% of their challenges are correct.
Damn.
That's a pretty damn good
2
rate.
weeks, but yeah.
Yeah. But if you have that eye, right? Because there are some teams like the Reds. That's why the Sox are 9th with 0%, is because there are at least half of the league has not had a challenge from their pitchers. There's a lot of teams that will not allow their pitchers to challenge, which
they want to
is
challenge every other
yes, it's a very good idea. Let the catcher handle it, and it's almost the same for a batter, right? Like I'm sure that there are some hitters in the league where a manager's like, you don't get to use our challenges.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you know that a guy does not have a good eye for the strike zone and he's very emotional at the plate, like for me, PCA, you don't get to use the challenge.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you get to use the challenge until you get one wrong.
I would think Bo Jackson doesn't get to use the challenge.
Yes, guys, that's sweet. Yeah,
bro. If you break a
Sammy Sosa,
if you break a bat over your leg, you don't ever get to use the
challenge. Vladimir Guerrero Sr.
Yeah.
You do not get to use the challenge. You swing at everything.
Yes.
So
and hit everything too.
Yes.
So I mean, that's the thing with
yeah. There is a thing to it, and there is strategy to it as well. I know a lot of pitchers have already talked about strategy and how they work the zone to try to get you to use your challenges. Here's my question for you with the ABS system. If the ball hits the line by like the lace of the ball touches the line, it's a strike.
I know.
Should the ball have to be at least 50% or more in the zone, which they can determine because the ABS tells you up to a 1/10 of an inch.
Yeah.
Whether the ball hits the zone, you can determine whether or not the ball is, because to me, if the ball is 1% in the zone and it's a strike, I would argue it's 99% out of the zone. So are you okay with the borderline strike call?
Traditionally, it's been if the ball even nips the zone. That's traditionally.
Traditionally, it's wherever the fuck the umpire calls it is a strike.
Traditionally, that has been most strike zones. Is that the ball even nips the zone? Like, what are we gonna do with that? I mean, it is. I mean, Steve Stone about 10 years ago went on a diatribe during a game, not that long, but pretty long, about if they ever went to a computer, that you would see ERA shrink and you would see even more of a pitching league, which it already is a pitching league and becoming more and more. So I don't know if baseball is going to be pushed into doing what you're saying and saying, hey, if it's lower than 20% in or 25%, whatever, I don't think it's ever going to be half and half. Because now you're going to have a lot of walks. You're going to have a lot of guys looking at almost every pitch, which you already have guys doing.
Yeah. Jeremiah says just touch the zone. That's the way it's always been. I'm fine with it just touching the zone, by the way. I don't.
But I don't know what – I mean, if guys aren't hitting the ball anymore because of this ABS system, now that it's way more accurate, I don't know what they're going to do.
I think we have to go back. I think what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up losing the thought process of the launch angle. Players have to start learning to hit the ball the other way. That's why back in the day, back in the 90s and when we were growing up in the 80s and watching these guys play baseball, you saw guys chasing 400. You saw Tony Gwynn, who could hit the ball to any field at any moment because he would, if you're pitching me outside, all right, I'm going to slap it the other way. The players nowadays do not have that mentality. They don't. It's all about launch angle. It's all about home runs. And 240 is the new 400. It's crazy.
Just like Oprah's weight in the 80s and 90s, this game is cyclical and it's changing all the time. Or Rosie O'Donnell's sexual orientation.
Doubting Thomas's moniker is you next to Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh my God. And he got it from the Wolves hockey game I went with my son. That's where he got the picture from. How dare you, sir? And he says, sorry, I'm here now. I don't even know.
So
you can't even go on.
The island. Is that where we're going next? We're going to talk about. Do you have names for me?
Oh! It's an island. in the middle of unapologetic and sometimes inaccurate sports talk. I can't think of a lot. I mean, I couldn't think of Hagen Smith, or is that even his name? That's probably the worst. We actually were pretty accurate today, so I'm not even gonna say much about it. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, there used to be Fitz gibberish, and it's back. And even a long time ago, in a galaxy farther, farther away, there were the 90s, ladies and gentlemen. And if I can get to it.
It's pretty. It's so pretty. Go with Sizzler. We go with Sizzler. We go with Sizzler.
Go with Sizzler. Yes! And in the 90s, basketball reigned supreme. Yes. For the uninitiated, ignorant, or ignorantly young Combs Jr., there was a decade called the 90s.
Who says anytime Fitz talks sports, it's Fitz gibberish, by the way?
Well, kind of true. Politicians, back in the 90s, politicians lied to us better. The air was cleaner. Plastics hadn't made it into our testicles. And the budget was balanced. And yes, basketball was life. If that was true, then basketball's mecca was Chicago. Pilgrims flocked here like it's McRib season from around the world to watch street ball sometimes. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
There was crowds watching street ball in the 90s on the south side of Chicago where people got shot. Anyway, because whether you like it or not, one man stretched his arms out to the whole world and set it on fire with dreams of hardwood and blacktop glory. If Chicago was Mecca, then the Bulls were the envy of most of the NBA. You should have seen me out there, Combs, on the blacktop, running rings around people like a white Muggsy Bogues. That's a 90s reference. But, like Camille Paglia once said, I had to look that up, the earth is littered with the ruins of empires that believed they were eternal. After the two Jerrys, Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the Bulls, and Krause, the old GM, ended the Bulls dynasty after the 98 championship sixth ring, the team would have one miserable draft after the other. Most notably in 2001, when they got the two towers of Tyson Chandler, who never quite reached his potential, and Eddie Curry, who, when his then coach Scott Skiles was asked how he could be a better rebounder, said one word: jump. Yes, jump. Even when it went right, they seemed to be cursed by the ghosts of a decade that seems to loom over the American people as well. Jason Williams' motorcycle accident. Remember Jason Williams? Pretty good. This is what you do while I'm doing Fitz gibberishes, isn't it? Scratch yourself and take off your mic. Okay. Derrick Rose's injury in the first round of the playoffs in 2012. Jimmy Butler being a Timu Machiavellian Antonio Brown. Lauri Markkanen, and on and on and on until we reach the current regime, or old regime now, Arturas Karnavsovas and Mark Eversley, the vice president of basketball operations and the general manager, who among other blunders traded Io and gave Patrick Williams 5 years, $95 million. If you know anything about basketball, not good. Dumb.
Terrible trade.
You see, like any terribly run and single-minded organization, the Bulls were fine with all this season after season because the fans packed the stadium. Almost always number one in attendance. Mediocre was the high bar for the Epstein classless Bulls. Yes, I said Epstein classless Bulls. But now the attendance has started to diminish, and the Bulls are in full panic mode, firing their front office. And Michael Reinsdorf didn't get fired. Looks more like George McCaskey, the son who took over the Bears, than Rocky Wirtz, the son who took over the Blackhawks and won 3 Stanley Cups. Can the Bulls find a way to reach back into the past and find their organization and this country's golden years, the 90s? Or are they how one pundit put it, the worst spot out of any organization in the Eastern Conference? If I'm a betting man, I would not bet on a Reinsdorf in this decade. As for America, I still have high hopes. Combs, Bulls. Really bad.
So I know you said the attendance.
We don't talk a lot of Bulls, but
the attendance was starting to diminish. That was your one inaccurate spot in there. They lead the league in attendance this year.
Yeah, I know they do. I know they do. Actually, they're down like 2.5% this year. But a lot of those tickets are being paid for. You can look. There is empty seats all over.
Oh yeah, yeah, and there should be.
People aren't going to the game. They bought tickets because they have season tickets, and it used to be a who's who of who's going to the game. It used to be like Chicago's, Lakers scene. It was a scene to go to. It's not that anymore.
Oh yeah. I remember going to the UC when it was first built. I remember Chicago Stadium going there. I've seen Michael Jordan. I watched Michael Jordan twice in person play. Like I saw him when he was wearing 45 when he first came back at the United Center. And so it used to be a thing. And but this is the problem. With the Bulls leading the league in attendance, this is why they don't get better. Because Jerry doesn't spend money because he's making it every damn year. And this
True.
is...
And now Michael Reinsdorf takes over and does very similar things. He has this front office who hasn't really done anything. And then you had 3 years in a row where you're in a play-in game. I mean, and you're just terrible, and you don't want to rebuild with these guys. They've already had a chance at a rebuild and did nothing. And Jeremiah says it. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Alex Caruso, Vooch, Kobe White, Io, all traded without receiving one first.
Which is crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely insane that they have not gotten a first-round pick out of all these. And not only that, but I mean, now the other problem has been they've been playing to just be good enough, which has also detracted from their ability to build a roster. Now, look, I love the firing of AK. I think that was absolutely a must. The problem is now, one, are you able to retain Billy Donovan? Or does Billy Donovan decide to just take some time off?
Does he want to go like...
I honestly thought he was until they announced this week that they had made a hire of Michael Malone. I thought Billy Donovan was going to North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, why not at this point? He looks like he's aging like a president at this point.
Yeah. I don't know who comes in and who runs this team. Like that's the problem. Like it's not the White Sox with Reinsdorf where you have the hope of, hey, Ishbia coming in and spending money and putting something back into the team.
Like that's what's going to happen.
Might even buy a new it looks like it's already started to happen. Right.
Yeah.
So with the Bulls, you're like, first of all, who the hell wants this job? What executive right now is licking their chops like, hey man, I could take over this Bulls team and really build something here.
Don't get me wrong. I might have been inaccurate with the diminishing attendance, but the optics do not look good.
No,
and that makes your season ticket holders go away. But I was right about one thing: the Bulls were the Yankees of basketball.
Oh yeah,
in years,
and in a way they kind of still are. Right, because they are still drawing. People still want to go see the Chicago Bulls. Yeah. They are still a marquee name in the NBA. The problem is look, they play in a city where the people that live here are so rabid about their sports teams. They go no matter what, and they buy tickets no matter what. And season ticket holders buy them because of resale value. And then they get stuck halfway through the season because the resale value is not as high and people don't want to go to as many games. So now you've got all of these people with season ticket holders And that's why the stadium looks empty, because they can't resell the ticket. So yes, do you have these tickets sold? Are they there? Yes. The problem is you have an owner that doesn't care.
Yeah.
He doesn't care that the stadium's half empty because the tickets are already sold. If he sells out a stadium and nobody shows up, he's okay with that.
Yeah,
and that's a problem.
But that's not good for optics, one. That means less people are going to go to the stadium. That you're not going to have those season ticket owners forever, and no one's there buying anything. I mean, that's a problem if no one's there buying anything, or half people are.
Yeah.
Doubting Thomas says, who would have guessed 3 years ago the Bears would be the closest Chicago team to winning a title? Now he wants to actually talk sports is the problem here. Is he actually wants to talk sports now. And I'm not taking him seriously. And guess what? You know what he tells everybody who will listen, who doesn't believe him? That I used to call fouls on the basketball court all the time, and I was terrible at basketball. Now, come on.
Well,
who would you believe?
I believe I believe you are a guy that would call fouls on the basketball court. I believe that you are a guy, I believe that you are a guy who would miss a layup and be like, foul. Because I feel like that's you. Now, whether or not you were actually good on the court, maybe. You look like you could have been, a guy who could shoot a little bit. Maybe, possibly.
I was there. Okay, you weren't there.
I was there. It happened, said Megan. That's your sister. Your sister, I believe your sister was there. I mean, it's hard to believe your sister wasn't there. I mean, she's married to the guy.
Fitz saw his shot missed. It was a foul.
That's how she fell in love with Doubting Thomas. Was Doubting Thomas was whooping your ass at basketball on the blacktop, and she was like, your sister was like, oh wow,
he shot like Bill Cartwright. You look up anybody who doesn't know who Bill Cartwright is. Old center for the Bulls. He would shoot like this. It was a weird shot. Go look up Bill Cartwright shooting a foul shot. Stop.
I mean, that's kind of what I just said. So I believe it might actually be true.
It was 90s. It was a different time. I would shovel the snow to play basketball back in the 90s. The fact that they said they're not going to hire a GM, he doesn't want Billy in is insane. This is This is a Bears thing to do.
Well, here's my question,
It's a White Sox thing to do too, but it's also a Bears thing to do. That's why I'm saying Michael Reinsdorf is closer to George McCaskey than he is Rocky Wirtz.
But do you believe Billy Donovan's a good head coach? Because I do.
I think he's a very good head coach. I think the way he uses timeouts, I think his half-court play, I think his inbound plays are good. I think he's good before and after a game, which is big in basketball. Basketball is a close to football and the impact a coach can make. And I think he's really a really good coach.
So this is what I said.
Don't think, does he even want to be here anymore?
What I said when they fired AK was like, I like this firing.
You want to be here?
But what if they gave Billy Donovan control over the roster? And Billy was a head coach / type GM like they do in the NFL all the time, right? Like, would you be okay with that? Because then I think that actually makes a ton of sense to let Billy build his own roster and do this thing. Because I don't think that there's, like I said, if you're an aspiring front office GM, right? Like, say right now you're an assistant GM with, let's say, the Charlotte Hornets or something, right? Are you looking at the Bulls job like, oh man, I could really build something here. Let me go work for this organization, right? Like, I think that if you're going to hire somebody, it's going to have to be a Chris Getz type hire of a guy who's failed in your organization already, who you just promote because nobody else is going to want to work for you.
I think they still have that thing where even in that White Man Can't Jump, which is a movie from the 90s, which everybody should go see. It's terrific and hilarious. You got a guy, they're playing in LA and he's wearing a Bulls jersey, obviously a Michael Jordan jersey, but there's still people who wear Bulls stuff. It's still a name. It's still something. If you go to the Bulls, Bill Cartwright has 3 rings. Bill Cartwright has 3 rings. All he did was play defense. They got Luke Longley in here, and that was an improvement. Bill Cartwright has 3 rings. So that's the argument for Doubting Thomas being a good basketball player. Marcus, you should have seen him play basketball. I mean, he could run.
I've never seen you get so mad in the middle.
I'll say this. The kid could run. Doubting Thomas could run, but that's about all he had when it came to basketball. Bill Cartwright. He was one of the worst. He did play defense really well, and he was a terrible head coach. You talk about early 2000s Bulls basketball. He was head coach for the Bulls for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
he was terrible after the Tim Floyd era.
Yeah.
He was horrible.
Speaking of Jerry Reinsdorf hires,
I just think this is another organization. I'm going to separate him from Jerry.
Yeah,
and say maybe Michael could be better. Now, after this 6 years ago, I'm sure Jerry had something to do with bringing in the vice president and the GM. Now, no, this is totally going to be Michael Reinsdorf's thing. I just think this is another organization that Chicago doesn't deserve. It's another one that makes decisions like that. And I actually agree with Jeremiah that Billy Donovan isn't good enough to handcuff a GM when a GM comes in here. Who are you going to attract if it's like you have to have this coach?
Well, that's the thing. Like that's where I'm at with it. Like, I don't know like if you're telling me the Bulls have an opportunity to get a high profile GM, then I agree with you. Then if he doesn't want Billy Donovan, then Billy Donovan has to go, and you go and you get that high powered GM. I don't know who you're hiring. I don't know what GM wants to come to this organization and thinks that it's a good spot to land.
Yeah.
That's my problem. Like, now, if you're going to tell me that, hey, we're going to promote Chris Getz to GM and then we're going to get rid of Billy Donovan, I'm like, oh, great. Well, here we go. We're going to suck for another 10 years.
I think it's almost like, when Theo Epstein came and did the Cubs, I think it could be a similar thing where you had a team that did have a lot of fanfare, that did have a name nationally, had a name. I think this is a really good landing spot for someone who wants to say, I can do this. I can turn around. And if I do turn around the Chicago Bulls, my name will be etched in history.
But you're not, you have to look realistically because the Reinsdorf family is in your way.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like the Reinsdorfs are in the way. Like, until the Reinsdorf family,
Reinsdorf is his father, abandoned all hope.
Yeah. Until the Reinsdorf family sells this team, they're not good. And that's just, that's just the reality of the situation.
We're gonna have a Bill Cartwright talk right now. Like, we're gonna have a Bill Cartwright. We are the only podcast out of 70 million podcasts on the face of the earth. This is the first truly original thing
with no Bill Cartwright.
Nobody else is talking about no Bill Cartwright right now. Nobody is. People are talking about the Cartwrights when we're talking about the old Bonanza episodes.
Yeah.
But no one is talking about Bill Cartwright right now.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Charles Oakley was way better than Bill Cartwright. He wasn't a center. He was a power forward, smaller power forward, but Jordan fucking hated it. But it was because Charles Oakley is Jordan's best friend, I think, still.
Yeah.
Which Jordan didn't keep a lot of friends.
It's, there might have been a reason why Charles Oakley was his best friend. Charles Oakley loved to party and loved to gamble. So,
loved to gamble. I do know that.
Yeah.
I do know that. I know Jordan didn't really party. I don't know. Now I know he parties a little bit, but
yeah.
I mean, famously, when they asked
did you ever see him at one of the Epstein parties, or?
I wouldn't know. I've never been. I'll tell you.
Oh, I saw the moniker. I just assumed.
I'll tell you what the first lady told the country in the middle of a war. She had to have her own press conference. I do not know Epstein. I have not met Epstein. I did not go to any of his parties or his island.
Okay.
And I can't believe I'm answering these questions. We're talking about Bill Cartwright.
Speaking of not knowing, not seeing, I drove past the site that could be the new Bears stadium on my way here. On my way here, to good old Munster.
Wonderful Hammond, Indiana.
Yeah.
Which Hammond, it's had its issues, but it's not that bad of a town.
But
there's worse in the area.
Yeah.
But,
the Bears are going to make an announcement supposedly within the next 2 weeks about where they're building their stadium.
In Arlington Heights.
Thank you. 3.5 years after we hire the guy who was supposed to build the stadium, we're finally getting the announcement of where the stadium is going to be.
Ground should have been broken. We should have had.
Stadium should already be half built.
We should have the foundation poured at least.
Yeah, we should be like, hey, next year the Bears move into their new stadium. How excited are you to go see this game?
They should be already planning for the Super Bowl in 5 years, which is not going to happen now. I mean, we're talking Super Bowl in 10 years.
Yeah.
No, they're going to Arlington Heights. I've never, ever. I was just talking to someone last night. I was telling you before the show who was like, oh, yeah, I watched the show, your Indiana show. Like, you really want them to go. You think they're, because I had said there, like, I never thought they were going to Indiana, and I don't want them to. He's like, you don't want them to? I thought from your show you wanted them to. I am sorry if there's some misconception anywhere. I never wanted them to come to Indiana. I never wanted them to leave Chicago. I think it's a good buffer to say, oh, we're going to Arlington Heights or to Hammond, Indiana. Either one, we're making our decision, or somewhere in Indiana. It doesn't have to be Hammond, but we're going to one of those sites. We don't know which one, because then it's like kabuki theater. You don't get to know that, oh yeah, they're leaving Chicago. Like, that's the problem, that they couldn't get something done in Chicago. I'm not reading it. So you
1-on-1 Doubting Thomas drunk -550. Fitz +400.
Fitz 4-1.
4-1 odds against drunk Doubting Thomas.
The easiest money you will ever win.
Okay.
That's the easiest 1-4. He's 5. That's the easiest money you'll ever win.
Yeah. Jeremiah says if they get Pritzker a double cheeseburger, meaning the Bears, it's a deal. Which is probably true. It might have to be a bacon double cheeseburger.
I mean, there's no way this isn't going to happen. There's no way they're going to Indiana. Not that it would matter. It's like across the state line. We're done with the podcast in probably 3.5 minutes.
Our producer is telling us it's time to go, guys.
Okay, you're going to be at your buddies. Okay.
Our producer's telling us to wrap it up. We gotta wrap it up.
My son Aiden has just told us
he's our new executive producer. I just hired him right now. But no, you look at the Bears Stadium and where they're going to build. I agree with you. I think it's Arlington Heights. I don't think that they're coming. I would prefer Northwest Indiana because it's closer.
Yeah.
So it took me 20 minutes to get here. It takes me longer to get downtown, right, from my house.
So Arlington Heights, who knows? It will be on a Sunday.
Yeah, and especially on a Bear Sunday, and with everybody traveling up there, it's just going to get packed. I just don't know, what is taking so long, or what the problem is, and why we've had to go through all of this nonsense for the last 3.5 years. It drives me nuts. And the fact that it was funny because when I saw the announcement, the Bears will decide within the next 2 weeks where their stadium's being built, I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like just get it over with already,
exactly.
man. If you already know, why are we waiting another 2 weeks? You want to do it on draft night? What is the thing? The big stadium review at this point here in Chicago. Where the hell are you building it? Just tell us so we can move on.
It's insane. Yeah, it's insane how long the timing with it. Saying they weren't set on Arlington Heights right before the Packers game, the big Packers playoff game. That's when they decide to announce that, we might not be going into Arlington Heights. We might go to Indiana. And like all this, again, the optics have been terrible.
Yeah.
From another organization that does not deserve Chicago and the Chicago public that constantly go to their games.
Yeah.
And you have this has just been totally mismanaged. You have times where they said that the state of Illinois said this and state of Illinois saying, we never even said that. They never even called us to talk about this. There's been so many instances of that. They seem to work better with Indiana, which I never thought they were coming to. And it just, on Indiana's side, it makes their state legislature look good to try to get something, try to bring a business into the state of Indiana. So that's why they're incentivized to do this dog and pony show. But this was never going to happen. There was never going to be a time where the Bears were going to go to Indiana. They just had to sell this enough and make it real enough.
Yeah.
To where, they probably get $150 million off a year in taxes in Arlington Heights.
Rodney says, how come the Fitz and Combs new studio isn't done? Well, because like the Bears, we figured we'd wait about 3 or 4 years,
Yes.
and then we'll announce that in a couple
Thanks,
of weeks we'll decide which room Fitz is going to build his new studio in. And that's how we're going to do things. We're taking the Chicago way. We're going to take the Chicago approach to this whole thing. Watch the parking situation. No, it won't be the same. I mean,
There's no
they've
way.
got the, especially in Arlington Heights, the blueprints that they saw, they had 4 or 5 parking garages,
Yeah.
just for the stadium. So it'll definitely be different. It'll be better.
They'll probably have lots too.
Well, they're going to build a whole district.
Town, basically.
Yeah. So you're gonna have hotels there. You're gonna have you're probably gonna have a casino or 2 there. You're gonna have sports books that are gonna be around.
It's close to the airport. Like
Yeah.
everything just makes sense. A lot of electrical is already there and
Mhm.
allocated. You don't have to bring a lot of electrical lines in or
Yeah.
water. I mean, there was already a pretty big horse race track, which Illinois basically we can maybe talk about that another time when the Derby comes back of what Illinois did to horse racing. And they used to have one of the best horse racing states in the country. Not anymore, but anyway, story for a different time.
Jeremiah says, I don't know, when Warren says there will be shovels in the ground, people die.
Or maybe they'll find some dead bodies out there.
I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised.
all of a sudden we find out where Hoffa was at.
Yeah, this whole time.
Rodney says, I really love your show. Appreciate you, Rodney. Thank you for
Come
chiming in. Thank you for commenting.
Every Sunday.
We are here at 11. Sometimes we go till noon. Sometimes we go till 12:30. Sometimes we go to 1. It just depends on how we're feeling that day, especially during football season. So yeah, I think the Bears, by the time that the draft gets here, which I mean we're only a week and a half away from the draft, by the way. I think that we'll have a new stadium. I think it'll be announced that it is going to be in Arlington Heights. Hopefully by then the Cubs are better than where they're at. Hopefully by then the White Sox are better than where they're at, and we're talking about good sports in this town. NFL draft we will get into next week. Definitely dive into the Bears draft, where they should go, things that they should do.
Show we did the show Edge Rusher.
Edge rusher. That's definitely the number one. Left tackle would be another one. I guess they feel like they already have their left tackle though. So
yeah, I mean,
there's that.
Defensive tackle.
Yeah. There's a couple out there. Giants have one that is available for a trade right now. In Dexter Lawrence, which would be a nice addition. But who knows? We'll see. But until next week, we will get out of here for now. Yeah, we're good next week. All right.
What the hell? I didn't know that was a question. It sounded like a statement.
At this time of year, there are a lot of times where we are going to take some shows off.
What are we going to say? We're going Sizzler after this, baby. You got your steak.
We going to Sizzler. We going to Sizzler. All right. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's go.
Basketball.
Let's go make sure our executive producer is ready to go. Yeah, he told us it's time to wrap it up. So till next week, same bad time, same bad channel. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies. See you later.